Welcome to my Compound Life. I'm your host, Jonathan. This is a channel where we build assets, build habits, and of course, freedom. So that should really be financial freedom, time freedom for you and I, and anyone else that watches my channel. Okay, so in today's video, what I want to talk about is some habits, right? Because it's part of one of the important pillar under my Compound Life, the habit of securing your Bitcoin. So if you own Bitcoin, you need to keep hold of it with utmost security in mind. Today, we will be looking into the Ledger Wallet data breach incident, right? Should you panic? And what you need to do next. So in the video, what I'll do, I'll explain what happened, what's actually safe, and what's risky, and of course, some suggestion or advice for every Bitcoin users out there, because I do know that many of you guys use Ledger. I used to use Ledger, but I kind of swapped after the 2020 data breach, right? So no doubt this video, by the way, is not to FUD Ledger, right? It's to bring awareness of the situation, because I know many of you guys use a Ledger hardware wallet, and just treat this kind of like a reminder to make sure that you guys actually follow certain process and protocol to make sure your Bitcoin and crypto remain safe. Okay, so let's get started of what happened. So Ledger customers' names and contact detail were accessed. So not from Ledger's own system, but through a payment partner called Global E, which Ledger uses for orders. Okay, so it's a payment partner system that got breached, not the Ledger system. Okay, so hackers access orders data like your name, shipping address, email, phone number, and purchase history, right? Like what kind of Ledger product you purchase. Crucially, no Ledger wallets, no crypto balances, and no 24 hours recovery phases were exposed. So that's good, right? So the core Ledger wallet security model was not breached. Your crypto is still under your control. That is, if you stay vigilant enough, right? Because whatever data that got exposed, these are gold for scammers, because they now know you own a hardware Ledger wallet, which wallet model you own, and most importantly, where you live, right? And of course, they now also know your contact channels, like your emails, your phone numbers. So that makes you a prime target for personalized scams. So imagine if you use Ledger on certain exchanges, right? Or certain DeFi, right? Now that Ledger have all of this, now that the scammers have all of this detail, they got your email address, they got your phone number. You know what? Maybe they won't even try to hack your Ledger device, but they start to impersonate you and go into exchanges and pretend to be you and try to steal your Bitcoin and crypto through exchanges immediately. Okay, so be very careful, be vigilant of what's going on, right? So put it this way, right? You just need to be vigilant, right? So I'll go through some of the key important things you need to be vigilant about. So just don't let your guards down. Okay, so you might ask me, am I affected, or are you affected, right? So of course, no one, Ledger or Global E, has publicly confirmed a hard number of affected customers, right? But I just want to highlight and give you a recap. Back in 2020, approximately 270,000 Ledger customers' data got breached. Okay, The impact this time around, it does seem it's limited to customers whose purchases on ledger.com were processed through Global E's as merchant of record. So it's ledger.com purchase, but runs through the Global E commerce kind of gateway. And of course, FYI, Global E is being used for international orders, which implies this isn't a 10-year full customer database situation for everyone, more like a subset of e-commerce orders handled through that partner. Of course, Ledger stated it wasn't the only brand affected because the attacker accessed a global e-cloud system holding shoppers' order data for multiple brands. Okay, so it's not described as US only or UK only or Australia only or anywhere else, because I know that I've got US, Canada, Australia, UK viewers. Global E is a cross-border e-commerce payment platform so customers can buy in local currency. It operates across many different markets, right? So be careful out there. The clean way to say it, if your ledger.com order went through Global E, you could be affected. So if you've recently made purchase of Ledger, check on some of the receipt or whatever, whether it's got traces of Global E, and that's regardless of UK, US. It can be anywhere else too. So if your order didn't go through Global E, you likely aren't part of this specific incident. Okay. And are there any known cases yet? Right. So I think immediately a phishing case started as soon as Ledger made such announcement. Separate reporting notes impacted users also received phishing emails shortly after disclosure, including message impersonating company from Ledger in the communications. There are also evidence from a user describing a phishing link using a uk.co.uk domain or subdomain, not proof of UK only impact, but proof UK themes lures are being used. So yeah, for all my viewers in the UK, you guys need to be careful. Okay, why does this matter? It's because the exposed personal data doesn't steal your crypto, but it enables scam that can steal your crypto or steal your money. Okay, how you might ask, using social engineering like phishing emails that look very real, fake security alerts or system upgrades, like they might ask you to upgrade your ledger, which, to be honest, never trust that. Usually the ledger updates, they're not going to broadcast that via email, right? You log into your ledger platform app, it will prompt about the upgrade, right? So if you receive email asking you to go to a link to download the latest hardware upgrade, firmware, right? Just be mindful and don't trust anyone. And of course, there will be fake ledger support that asks for your recovery phases. I think these are, this kind of old scam. I'm sure many of you guys knew about this already. So this is the whole thing about never share your seed phrases or recovery phases with anyone else. Okay, so never ever do that. Not even with Ledger, not even with their Ledger engineers. Okay, so always remember that. But I'm sure you guys are well aware of it. So good one on you. Clever. Stay safe. And of course, there will always be some sort of links to look-alike sites that steal your credential, right? So always type in the official URL, right? Don't click on links, because sometimes, on email, the anchor text might say ledger.com, but when you click onto it, the URL is actually something else. Could be like, support-ledger.com, which obviously isn't the official support page. Okay, so be mindful of that. So these aren't just theory, or reports already show targeted emails pretending Ledger merge with another company to trick users. So this stuff, it's subtle and believable. Trust me, that with AI nowadays, they'll make it so well. It can also take out a lot of the spelling mistake, right? Because previously, a lot of scam that you kind of look into it will have English grammar mistakes, right? And then it will have spelling mistake and so forth, right? It doesn't look genuine, but trust me, nowadays it will look very genuine, right? So my core message for you all is your crypto isn't under attack at the protocol level, but your identity and trust level is, okay? And the biggest threat is you being tricked into giving up your recovery phase or signing a malicious transaction. Okay, so make sure you never ever send your recovery phase online, right? If you want to give that to your wife, right, key into a metal device or something and give the physical copy over, right? And never take a screenshot or a picture or anything digital version to send that over to anyone, right? Rightfully, you shouldn't really be sending that to anyone anyway, right? So be careful with that. And of course, signing of malicious transaction, right? So something like don't copy and paste the wallet address without double, triple, quadruple checking on the full length of the wallet address. So these are just simple thing that a lot of people actually fail, right? A lot of people actually fail to follow through, right? So make sure you never fall for that. Okay. That's how people lose crypto, not through wallet hardware failure, right? A lot of it is actually through giving up seed phrases, recovery phases, or signing malicious transaction. So here's a major takeaway, right? Number one, protect your identity, because attackers use identity as bait, right? So moving forward, whenever you make purchase on anything, just use your email address. But when it comes to serious management of your crypto, make sure you have another separate email address that you purely just use that to manage your wealth. Okay, so things like this will become very, very important to follow through, right? So never share. So protect your identity, because attackers use identity as bait. And here are the things that you need to do, right? Never share your recovery phrase. Never share your recovery phrase. So Ledger, anyone else, exchange, DeFi, no one ever that offers a legit service will ever ask you for your 12 words or 24 words. Right? Just be careful with that. At any point, anyone asks you for that 12 words or 24 words, you need to be careful. Even when your wife asks you 12 words, 24 words, you need to know why. Is she being blackmailed? Why does she want to know all of a sudden, right? And if any email, text, or messages ask, very likely, guys, it's a scam, right? No one will ever ask that provides a legit service, right? And no one in the right mindset, right, will also be sending out that 12 to 24 words. So don't be that guy that sends out the 12, 24 words seed phrases and come back to my comment section and say, hey, I've been hacked. No, you haven't been hacked, right? You've given out your seed phrases. Okay. And number two is verify URLs and official channels only. Scammer by domains like ledgersupport.com, right? So all communication should rightfully just go into ledger.com. Even if the URL looks genuine, like the example I'm giving you, it's not, okay? And yeah, so if you do want to have any communication with Ledger, just make sure you actually go to ledger.com and do that communication. Like what I'm doing here, this is still under ledger.com. I don't think you can see the URL, but the subdomain is support.ledger.com. It's still coming from ledger.com. Okay. And thirdly is check sender's email carefully. Legit Ledger emails will come from ledger.com or related to the official domains and not coming from Gmail or some random servers. Something to be mindful of. And of course, don't respond to unsolicited calls or texts. If someone calls claiming to be Ledger support, hang up. They'll never call you, right? Ledger do not call their customers, and bear that in mind, okay? Even your exchanges, I don't know. None of the exchange I've ever used ever call me, right? So to my understanding, they will never call you, even if they do, right? Even if you think this could be legit, what you need to do is hang up, like decline politely, hang up, followed by going to the official website, call in that official telephone number and ask, did you guys call me? Did you guys call us, right? So bear that in mind. And the fifth things that you should really do is ignore alerts asking for recovery or wallet access. Scammers, they're very, very good at scamming in such a way that, they want you to action within the next hour or so, right? They might give you pressure to think that your crypto isn't safe and that it's being drained. And if you don't take action within the next 15 minutes to half an hour, everything will be gone, right? So they're very, very good at that. And all you need to do is to ignore them, go to the official website and check that out, whether that's the true case, right? So even if it references your order data, because, obviously there's now a breach, they'll know your order data, right? Just don't trust anyone. Okay. And of course, consider dedicated email for crypto. I've mentioned earlier, if you have email for your personal life, for your work, or for your e-commerce purchase, make sure you have a separate one that could be crypto or Bitcoin related, right? So let's say, for you to access certain exchange, maybe don't use your normal, ordinary personal email, right? Because many people will know that email address, okay? Of course, some of the advice that I've given goes beyond just Ledger, right? Whether you use cold wallet, hot wallet, or exchanges, you always have to bear security is a habit that you need to follow, right? Always verify before you act. Treat unsolicited message with suspicion. Use multi-factor authentication everywhere. That's very, very important. Use hardware wallet with clear signing and secure display. So even consider about taking your Bitcoin and crypto from your hot wallet, right? Your online wallet, the wallet on your browser, and then move them into a hardware wallet, right? And never assume you copy pasted the right wallet address. Double, triple, quadruple check before hitting send, right? Or before accepting the transaction, or before signing for that transaction. So bear that in mind, guys. Because one scammer gets your data, they look for trust and not really tech flaws, right? They will, they'll reach out to you, win over your trust, And all of you guys just end up giving all of your Bitcoin and crypto away, and that will be very depressing, right? I don't want to see that in my compound life, and because you know what, we all work so hard to build up our wealth, and then you can lose it within seconds. So be careful. So this is why self-custody requires your own personal security discipline and not just relying on technology, right? So you need to make sure you follow this through. And of course, after hopefully watching my video, don't panic and dump hardware wallet, especially Ledger, right? It's still a very, very reputable company. I just want to make sure that you guys are aware and have awareness that there's data breach in place. And if you have somehow received suspicion email, hopefully after watching my video, you should know how to react. So hit the like and subscribe, and I'll keep you posted with more of this. And of course, don't send your crypto to any support addresses. Don't try to verify your recovery phases online, and don't install random software recommended by emails, right? Always go to the official site to download the software, to update the firmware, right? So if you're Ledger, there's a Ledger app that you need to go in, and then if there are any firmware updates, it will prompt you. So bear that in mind. So your devices and seed phrases are still secure. They're not being attacked, so don't worry. And yeah, just be happy. Okay, so that's it. That's what I want to talk about. If you find this video helpful, please share it with anyone that are holding Bitcoin, especially beginners, or simply just help me out. Hit the like button and subscribe so that more people that you think might also be affected by this Ledger data breach will actually see this video, and to give them some awareness of the whole situation. And that's it, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Bye.